Hi everyone, thank you for being so patient with us as we were waiting for more people to join. I know at least it's a hot day here. I'm broadcasting live from Clarence High School and my room's about 85 degrees, so I appreciate your willingness to stay late on a Tuesday afternoon. So here today we're going to really dive into some aspects of using Google Cardboard with your students and virtual reality in your own classroom. I must admit I've given this presentation several times live, but I've never given it actually via a webinar. So I hope it's going to work out pretty well. And I'm going to demonstrate some aspects, and then we're going to save some time for some question and answers. And please stay with us to the end, because we're going to draw a name randomly to win a free ticket to the Buffalo Google Summit in October of this coming fall. So that'll be really exciting. So please stay. So here we go. So this is a little Google Doc, and I'm going to make it available to you. You can actually go right to this website and you want to follow along, that's great. And we'll also send this out in a separate email if you want to get this later. I'm also recording this session right now, and in a few days you'll see the recording will be posted here as well. So if you want to go back and revisit this and look at some aspects or share it, that'd be wonderful. I'd appreciate that. But there's the URL, tinyurl.com/CIC-cardboard. We had a little conference at Canisius College about a month ago where I also did this session. So I should probably give you a little bit of background who I am. My name is Ron Kotlik. I'm the director of the Education Technologies program at Canisius, where we offer graduate students a online master's degree in ed tech. We also offer a 4-course certification. So it's kind of neat. So students who already have their certification can actually get their master's and get their professional certification through us with that master's. And it's all online, and you can become an ed tech specialist in your school, even if you're already an English teacher or a kindergarten teacher or a science teacher. You could have that extra certification. So at the end, I'll share out some information about that, what we're doing, some new programs in the fall. But I'm also a high school teacher at Clarence High School. So I teach history, and I use all this virtual reality in my classroom all the time. So I really want to demonstrate that. All right, so here we go. Hope everybody's good. And let's just sort of move on here from this Google Doc. So virtual reality. There's this wonderful little YouTube clip about virtual reality. And I hope you'll be able to actually see this, and we'll play this a little bit. This was a Samsung commercial, and I'm really testing the limits of my computer. I have about 100 things running here at once. And it was a great little opening clip. So let's just watch this for a second. Okay, so you get the point. It's a great little clip about an ostrich, right, putting on these, virtual viewers and how that, he believes he's actually flying. So that's the more expensive Samsung piece. But what Google Cardboard did was a few years ago, Google really wanted to make virtual reality accessible to a much larger audience. And this is a great link to what Google Cardboard is. And literally when it came out, and I'm showing you one of these devices, it was a piece of cardboard. And this is ones that I used to have in my classroom, and I'll open it up here, and it's literally, you can kind of see it. It's just folded. It's this cardboard that you fold in a certain way. It actually came in flat. I actually had to assemble it myself. And there's some lenses in there. And then all you really do is put your phone, and we'll go through all this, right, inside the actual viewer, and now you have a virtual reality viewer which is really only about $5 or $6. Okay, so that's right at the base level, and they work really good. You can actually make this a project with your own students if you have sort of a tech department and they want to, like, you can buy the plans and all the parts, and you can make this for even a cheaper per item sort of cost. Now, there are some more advanced ones, and I won a grant, and I got a class set of these, which are plastic. They're actually, if you remember the old Mattel Viewmasters when we were younger, I'm in my early 40s, so I remember what the old Viewmaster with the little, you know, plastic ring in there. You could, like, click on all the different visuals. But this is a little more, you know, certainly a little more sturdy. And you put your phone inside this, and now it does the exact same thing as that cardboard. And this is a great site. You can go through it on your own, certainly, and it tells you all about the different viewers and how to get cardboard and how to make them yourself even. So pretty great site if you really want to get into this. Okay, so for me, I really wanted to make this part of my experience as a history teacher with my students, right? So you imagine from history, I could take my students on virtual field trips. We could explore historic sites and do wonderful things. So in order to make this happen, you needed to put a few apps on your phone. Now, let me just pause for a moment here. I teach in high school where we allow students to bring in their own devices. So if students have a phone, they can bring it in and we can, like, do this together in class with their own devices. Now, if you're not a school that has that, you can still do this, but it's a greater challenge. And I'll talk about Google Expeditions, where you could buy kits from Google where they give you, like, mock down phones to put into these devices so you can actually open it up. If you have iPods in your school, I know some elementaries have, like, you know, cards or class sets of iPods, you can certainly do that, all right, especially for the younger grades. You can do this on an iPad, but you certainly can't put an iPad in a viewer, but you can get some of that sort of 360 feel by just, you know, moving the iPad around as well. So there are some ways around it to still have some fun and experience that. So regardless of what you're using, you're going to need some apps, and you can go through these later. And these links actually give you the iOS link to the Apple, to the App Store, or to the Google Play Store if you're an Android user. The Google Cardboard app, the Google Street View app. The Google Camera app you really don't need. This is really if you want to make your own 360 photos and your own 360 videos. And the one we'll do at the very end, Google Expeditions. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I basically made a screencast. I recorded my telephone. All right, so this is a quick little video. I'm just going to pause it as I go through all this. The reason why is just if I did this live right now and I tried to project my phone screen onto my computer with everything going on with this webinar, it might not work as well. So I'd rather just kind of walk you through this. All right, so right now I'm going to open up my phone. Okay, so here's my phone. All right, I paused it. I have a little app drawer here that has all, like, my cardboard apps and my virtual reality apps. Okay, so I'm going to open up that particular folder on my phone. Now, I have an Android phone, but it looks almost identical on an Apple device. I have some of my apps here, the Cardboard app, the Explorer app, and the Camera app, which ones that we'll do today for the most part. Okay, now we're going to look at the Cardboard app first. Now, the Cardboard app, when you open it up, has a lot of, like, demos, and there's a 360 video channel from YouTube, which is awesome. And you could, like, add some, like, other apps to this if you really want to, like roller coaster apps and Star Wars and other fun stuff. But for educational purposes, these are really great. And what I used to do with my students is we would have one day of just having fun. We would call it our Google Cardboard Fun Day, where I just had them go through the demos, you know, just play with it, just get a sense of how does this actually work. And it was just a really good experience for them. So let me play this a little bit, and I'm going to look at some of the different apps here. Now, the first time you do the Cardboard demo app, these are all the other apps you could put on your phone as you scroll through it. I just wanted to show you that sort of quickly, all right, which is fine. Okay, so it's just showing all the different apps that are available. Okay. Now, we're going to look at the Cardboard demo app. Now, the first time you do this, you're going to get this sort of little image on your screen, on your phone screen. It's going to show you how to turn your phone over, and it's also going to have you scan with your phone's camera the little QR code that's on the Cardboard viewer. So this is all it is, and it just pairs your phone to whatever kind of viewer you have. If you have the more expensive viewer, the actual plastic viewer, right, there's a little Cardboard viewer, little QR code right inside there. All right, so that's how that actually works. So that's super useful. All right, So play that. It's going to have you turn your phone over on its side. And when you do that, it's going to look like this. And it's going to say, okay, all right, so what do I want to do with this? My phone's already paired. But if your phone wasn't paired, this comes up, and you just literally take a picture of the QR code, right, on your viewer. And you're all paired to go. So once you have this, and let me actually make this a little bit bigger for you so you guys can actually see that. It's probably a little better. Now, when you look into your actual cardboard, so right now if I was like doing this and I was looking around, as you move your head, these different icons are highlighted. And you can actually select apps right inside of it. Now, on this viewer, there's this little trigger. You just click when you want to actually select an app. On the actual cardboard device, they just did a simple metal washer and a magnet. That's all it really is. You just like flick it, and that actually selects it for you. Okay, so that's really useful. And you just click on that, and you just have some fun. They have a Google Earth, and they're expanding that a lot. They have a tour guide. They just have some like different exhibits, which are just kind of fun, and some videos you can look at. So, photospheres and just, other Arctic journey. So they just have some different fun things to play around with. This is like their demonstration. So I think we clicked on one of them and it'll go through it a little bit differently. So everyone's a little bit different. They're always changing it. This is the YouTube channel, which is kind of really useful. All right. There's a lot of 360 videos for different content. So that's really awesome because you're watching a video, you have the sound, and as you look around, it's all over the place. I think I just picked this gorilla one because I thought it was kind of interesting. All right, now it's going to come up, and I press play on the video like you would any YouTube video. Okay, but I want to show you something. I want to pause it. Now, when you're in a YouTube video and you see the little cardboard icon, that means that now that if you click on that, you press that on your phone, it's going to put into that divided view in order for it to be viewed on your cardboard device. So there you go. So you have that divided view. So then when you put it into your phone, you make sure that that divided view, that line, matches this line right here if you had the plastic viewer, okay? Or if you had the cardboard viewer, you just make sure that line was in the center of this dividing cardboard piece. If it's a little off, it looks a little blurry and might give you a little bit of a headache, which for some students, this actually does cause them some anxiety. And I always tell them, if you're not feeling well, stop doing this. Some people just don't like it. It just makes them feel a little sick. For the vast majority of students, this hasn't happened. But just in case, you just might make sure you just give them a little word of caution. So as we look around in this, you'll be like you're in the middle of the jungle, and you can kind of look around, and there's like gorillas all around you, and I mean it's just really kind of a fun, awesome thing to actually kind of go through and look at, which is kind of just really neat. Okay, so that's kind of how that part of the demo actually works. So let me kind of fast forward a little bit. There's a lot of different videos there you can kind of run through and see on that. Okay, the other app that we'll look at today, as I click through things here, would be I think I'm gonna go right to the Street View app now. Okay, now this is the one I actually use a lot, Google Street View. So this is kind of neat. It's just like you have on your PC or whatever, like on your web, Google Maps or Google Street View, and you can go anywhere in the world and see places, right? If people have taken a 360 photo of a certain location, okay? So these are like obviously hotspots you can go look at all around the world. You can kind of certainly pinch in and pinch out of that and expand that or make that smaller to view different parts that you want to explore, right? Okay. But what's really neat is you can also scroll up, and they have a lot of cool suggestions of what's out there, some great collections. And you can click on any of these and kind of explore 360 photos. So let's say we want to go under the water. We can click on that one. And this is in Queensland in Australia. And look there's that Google Cardboard symbol again. All I had to do was click on that Google Cardboard symbol, and it puts in that view. Now here's something a little bit different. You got these little arrows here. Whenever you see the arrows, this particular 360 sort of image is able to you can sort of walk through it. So if you actually look at those arrows, and if you click then on your trigger here, you will actually then proceed through a different part of the image. So it's like you actually can kind of explore underwater. So I'll click, and now look I'd actually just moved a little bit. Clicked again, I'm moving under the water. I'm going over the coral reefs there, right? So that's really cool. You can look around. Now again, I can look all the way around, up and down. I'm just looking forward, but this is all around me. This is a 360 photo. So I can look down, I can look up, and you really get totally immersed in the experience. And again, this could be great for a biology class, this could be great for a geography class. I'll show you some examples of what I did with my own students. So that's the way that works on Google Street View. Okay, so you can kind of click around. Now what you can also do is you can also search. You can also search for different places. You can just type things in. So I typed in, I think, like Niagara Falls, which is pretty awesome. And, I just clicked on, it takes you right to our Niagara Falls. These are all the places where people have just taken 360 photos. These are all just done by regular people who have 360 cameras who just click them and upload them, and then they're available. There's that 360 cardboard symbol, and you can put your phone into that, by sort of viewing, and now you can look around Niagara Falls like you're actually there. So, that's just a great way, and I use this app a lot with my students to find historic places from a history standpoint, which was pretty amazing. But if you're a foreign language teacher, an English teacher, right, you're teaching a novel or teaching a story, you want to go to the place where the story's set. Foreign language, certainly. Science will get into a lot of great uses. So this can go across different curriculars, and there's a lot of featured collections and things that you could look at. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the 360 camera today. You can actually take your own 360 photos and you can upload them with your own phone. So your phone can take a 360 photo. Most camera apps have that now. You can actually take it right in Google Street View, or on the Google Cardboard camera app, you can certainly do that. And you can actually upload. I took these at Old Fort Niagara, where I actually used to work as a British soldier, which is a lot of fun. This is a great fort on Lake Ontario, where the Niagara River meets Lake Ontario. But I took these myself, and then you could view them. And this one actually records sound, so if you can hear the wind and stuff if we were actually using the phone. So there's some great possibilities of taking your own 360 photos. I really kind of want to move on and show you how I use this with my own students. Okay, so let's kind of get out of this a little bit. Okay, and I'll get to exhibitions later because I can actually show you that live. Okay, so that's the Cardboard app. Hope everybody's still with me, and we'll save some questions for later. All right, those are all the apps that you can then put on your phone. I'll come back to exhibitions in a little bit. Now, let me start off how I use this. When I first started using this, probably about 3 years ago, it was real basic. And I had a Civil War course I teach. It's an elective. And I had students work on a Google Doc together. This was real simple. We shared out a Google Doc. And I had the students find an historic photograph from the Civil War. All right. And they just worked on this as a group. They all worked on this shared Google Doc together. Okay. And then they had to find the matching 360 photo of what that particular place looked like today. All right. So here, sorry, computer's got a lot going on here. So let me just wait till that loads up a little bit. All right. This is actually the really great one, but I'll go back to this one momentarily here. Let me go up here a little bit. So there's a very famous photograph of Fort Sumter, where the Civil War began. Where it was fired on in South Carolina, and they found the historic photograph. And then they went to the web and they found they went to their phones, they went into the Street View app, and they looked for Fort Sumter, and they found some great 360 photos. So they shared a link out to these photos, and then they put the link on the Google Doc, right? So now we can actually bring up the 360 photo right here on our web viewer, which was easy to do, okay? And now we're actually, in our browser, I should say, and now we're actually in that 360 photograph. So this is a 360 photograph, and we can sort of scroll around it and look at it. And all we have to do is basically just put this title, Fort Sumter, into that Google Street View app, and we would then put this right on our phones and see it in complete virtual reality. So now we can actually go inside the fort that matched up with that historic photograph. So it was a great way to kind of link what things looked like back then. Like this is a great one of the Battle of Antietam. And then if we go into the Battle of Antietam, we can actually see that house. Like it's still there today. And there's a really great 360 photo. This is a really neat one. This is a ironclad ship, a battleship. And then if we click on this particular 360 photo link, basically it shows you what it looks like today, and we could actually go right inside of it because the outside of the ship is gone, but this is actually the wooden structure of the ship today at the museum. So that's what the ship looks like today. So like we're actually inside the ship. So that was a really great one to find and to really kind of bring in those aspects. Okay, so how do we, I'll come back to this in a moment, how we kind of tie this all together. Okay, so I think this is that was a fun, easy way as we started off. Okay, now let me get back to our site here. Now this year we really sort of upped the ante a little bit. I teach a military history course at Clarence where students get credit from Niagara University for a course they offer there. So it's a college level course offered at a high school. And what the students did was something very similar, but I expanded the directions. We used Schoology, so everything was posted in Schoology. I had them find the maps, find the sites, but they actually produced a website based upon what they found. So let me just show you this. Like this was a Google Doc. This was like very similar to the one I just showed you. Okay. So the same idea that we just did, right, that we just talked about before, all right, that was the one way we actually did it. But then they used that Google Doc then to kind of expand it. And they built actually a website using Google Sites. And that could be a whole other webinar, how to do that. So this was their this is their website, and this was their Google Cardboard Expedition. That's what we called it. And it was just really awesome. So they found some really cool things like the stone bridge at Bull Run. And these are all links that they created. So there's a stone bridge at Bull Run. They did some analysis of the photograph. They talked about it. And they also then talked about the map. They showed a map of where it actually is. It's a Google map. And then here is their little 360 view of what it looks like today. And it brings you to the web. But again, all this can be viewed right on the cardboard viewer itself. So there's the exact same place that they showed the bridge over Bull Run Creek, what it looks like today. Okay? So that was just a way to kind of expand it. All right? Now, in terms of other courses, I did a very similar thing with a sociology course I teach, but they created posters and they created examples. It's the exact same thing, but the idea of looking at different cultures around the world today. So some people did like, Australia or Finland, and we looked at places in Finland, and we could walk around Finland, and that was really, really fun. Now, I want to talk about how there is some disconnect here. I put a lot of links of different cardboard resources that you got to check out, which are awesome. But here's the problem. I wanted to get what they found. They went to their phones first, right? They're on their phones, they're looking at the Street View app, and then how do they then get that off of their phone, and how do they get it onto, a website, and how could they share with our people in the class? Well, I first thought it'd be great to have QR codes that you can basically just take a link from Google Street View, send out a link and create a QR code of it. So basically the idea was you could take your phone, scan the QR code, and then bring it up and put it right in your device, and it'd be wonderful. That worked for like a few months, and then it stopped. As of now, when you share a link off of that Street View app, it takes you to the Google Maps app on your phone. It doesn't take you to the Google Street View app, which is a weird disconnect. That's both iOS and Android. So that was a little bit frustrating. So basically the way we did it was a couple of different ways here. Let me show you this again. So I made this direction sheet on how to do all this, and maybe I should share this. Maybe I should put this direction sheet on the Google Doc for you, so you know what I'm talking about. Students found basically everything off their phone, or they found it off the web, and they basically had to just remember what the search term was for what they actually did. So I did this whole direction sheet. We were reading a book in class, and we had to find virtual sites related to the actual book. And I went through all these directions of how to make the websites, all these different screenshots. And I'm sorry it's taking so long to load this up. But I showed them actually how to actually do this. So what we did was we actually used the website first. We went to just Google Maps, and we used the website to find 360 photos. And then we just remembered what search terms we used to find those photos. And then we just typed those search terms into our app on our phone. And it worked totally fine, okay? So I can just show you quickly. I can go to Google Maps, right? I'll go to Google Maps. And we'll bring that up for you. And we probably have all been here. We've probably have all searched for our house on Google Street View to see what our house looks like, right? When the Google car comes by. Students love doing that, right? And here's your good old Google Maps. Now, I don't know if you knew this or not, and we should probably like scale out of this a little bit. Okay, we should probably just like make this a little bit smaller. But do you ever see down here in the little corner, right-hand corner on the bottom, this little guy called Pegman? If I take Pegman and I move him around, right now these are all street views. Okay, these are all different places we can go look and see a 360 photograph of a street view, right? Okay, so we can go right here on Main Street and boom, all right, and now we're in the actual street view of Main Street, okay, in Clarence. So I just had students remember what their search terms was. They just type down 10223 Main Street, and that's how you actually find that on the Google Street View app. Now, if I go back though, and I want to show you what else is available. Sometimes there's things called little photospheres, little dots. So I can go to there's a little dot right here, okay? And I can click, I can bring Pegman over to that dot, and that's going to be a 360 photo that someone took and uploaded. And that brings you outside of Clarence High School, that someone just took a picture right there, okay? Now what I'm trying to do is that someone did take a Pegman shot of my classroom, so you can actually go inside and see inside my classroom, and I don't know why it's not actually working today. It's taking you outside the school, but it's not bringing you inside. But I wanted to show you that there are different ways to actually do this. But we can kind of like go out and we can like really zoom out, and then you take little Pegman, and there's like wow, we can really go all over the place and do some really kind of neat things. Okay, so that's how we actually did it. Okay, so hope that made sense to you as we're going through this virtually rather than in person. Okay, now what I also want to show you today is Google Expeditions, because it's something that's fairly new, and it used to be like in testing, and now it's kind of all set. And what Google has done is Google has basically created content for you already. Okay, I don't think I have the actual link here for Google Expeditions, so I can just do is quickly go to Google Expeditions, right? And this is going to show you what they have. They've created content for every possible subject matter you can think of, where they've already created 360 photos for you, and they've already created some really awesome content for you to sort of do virtually. And here we go. And this is the site. And you can do all this, bring your lessons to life, and it gives you the apps to load on your phone, certainly. Tells you how it all works and how you can go on these virtual field trips anywhere you want in the world, but you can guide them, and they give you content already for you to actually look at and to ask questions and to point your students where to look at, and it's all tied together. So let's try this. Okay, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use a program called AirServer to actually broadcast my iPad onto the screen. Okay, hopefully this will work here. Okay, let's go to that. I'm going to bring it up. Okay, so here's my iPad right now on the screen live, and right now I'm going to click on this app called the Expeditions app. Okay. Now I am going to be a guide. I want to show you that me as a guide. I'm going to lead an expedition. You can either lead one or you could be a follower. Now, this one shows you all the ones that are available. And you got solar energy, you got space, you got careers, firefighters, museums. You can go inside the human body. Let's climb Mount Everest. And there's thousands and thousands. You can search. And one of the links on the Google Docs is actually a spreadsheet of all the ones that are available. Okay, so I'm going to go to the ones that I've already downloaded, because you got to download them first onto your device or they won't work. And we can do like Pearl Harbor, I guess, something like that. Okay, so I'll just open Pearl Harbor up. And what it does, it gives you all these different scenes. Now, these are 360 photos, and it gives you like something to talk about, to say, and it also gives you something where to look at. So if I press play, and if you were following this, now you would see this now in your cardboard viewer. Okay, you can look all around the deck on the harbor, the deck of the USS Missouri, and you can look all the way around it and see what's going on. Then I could ask these questions to you as a teacher. But if I wanted to focus on a point, I hit kamikaze attack, it brings you right to that, and it shows you this little circle. Now, when you're in the viewer, arrows point where to look. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto my phone. So I got my phone right here, and I'm going to join this expedition from my actual phone. Okay, so I want to show you how the interaction is here because it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to go to expeditions. So I'm on the app right now. I don't know if you can actually kind of see that. Okay, it's the same kind of thing. Oh, you can't see the iPad? You can't see it at all? Oh no. I'm so sorry. I wonder if it's sort of it's not sharing it. I wonder. I wish I could fix. Oh, here. Well, nope, wrong one. Okay, share screen. I had to switch it on the controller here. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. So did you not see any of that?
We missed all of that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so here's the Expeditions app. I'm on my iPad. You could be a guide or you could be a follower. Okay, and if I'm a follower, it's going to look for expeditions that are already going, or I could be a lead. And I'm a lead, I can like go through all the ones that are available. Right now I'm only showing you, whoops, let me get out of this. I'm only showing you what I've downloaded. But if I click that off, these are all the different expeditions that are available. Careers, I said, museums, the human body, Mount Everest, and there's actually thousands of them that are available. You have to download them first to for your iPad or to your phone, because you can lead it from a phone or an iPad. And then when I want to start one, I can just go into, let's just start the coral bleaching event. Okay, we're in this ocean theme. I can sort of start it, and now it gives you stuff to talk about. So I can talk about climate change. I can talk about all these kind of different aspects. And if I click on one of these little dots here, it will actually, I gotta press play. And right now this would be on your viewer. Okay, and I could press play, and it would point to where I want you to look. And I could point over here, and it'll point to where I want you to look. Okay, then I could pause. I can go to a brand new scene. I could press play on this scene. All right, and then it gives you all the stuff to talk about. So it actually gives you questions sometimes. It gives you, just brief little things to talk about. And there's all these like great content here. Okay. Now I was trying to show you is from my phone. If I join this expedition, you're going to see something happen here. So I'm going to go to my phone. I'm going to be a follower, and I'm going to look for it, and it shows me. Right there, I'm going to follow my own expedition that's on my iPad. I'm going to follow, and now, right now, I put my phone into the view, and it's going to bring it up. All right, and it's connecting. It's taking a little bit of time here because we're probably doing a lot of things here. And I want you to see what happens when you have a phone connected to it, because you can actually see where your students are looking. All these little faces come up, right? And so, okay, so right now it's on my phone, and I'm playing, but it will show, I'm trying to show you where I am, what I'm looking at. It's going to show a little smiley face, and that's going to be actually where I'm looking at. Trying to find my own little phone where I'm looking at. That's kind of funny. How come I can't find it here? let me get rid of this part. And where am I looking? I want you to see this. This is so cool. It works better when there's like a lot of people doing this. But I want you to, there should be a little smiley face looking where I'm looking. So you know exactly where your students are actually looking. Now you don't know which student is looking where. And for the life of me, I can't find the smiley face of what I'm looking at. Figures. All right, maybe I'll just change events. But okay, I'm playing this one. And well, for some reason, it's not showing I'm actually in this presentation. I can see it on my phone, but that's okay. But you get the point. And then basically the idea was if I like highlight anywhere on my iPad and I press here, there'll be an arrow in my phone showing me where to look. So you can kind of guide your students where you actually want them to look, which is pretty awesome. So this is like a great tool, and there's so much content for all different subject areas. So that's kind of what we were doing with Google Expeditions. Now let me change my sharing again to get back to the my Google Doc here. Okay, so everybody's can see that. Okay, good. All right, so that was really what I wanted to show you. Now, and toward the end of this, there's more examples. There's a lot of resources here. And then these are just photos of my students when they just had so much fun looking around the room with this stuff, with the first cardboard viewers we had. And then we got some of the more high-tech ones. So that was a lot of fun for them. And that's kind of how my room was all set up with this stuff. And this is actually an April's Fool's joke by Google. They had a Google Cardboard for Chromebooks, which doesn't exist, obviously. So that was just an actual joke. So I'll take some questions, but before we do that, I mean, there's some great links about our program here at Canisius. So if you're ever thinking about, or if you know someone who needs to get some great professional development or get some, graduate work done, it's all online, and we offer a really, in-depth, great program that's really hands-on. So it gets to know all of our different programs, and there's our social media outlets. Okay. All right. So hope that was interesting. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them right now.